Hello, everyone. Thank you so much again for purchasing my deck. I hope that these videos are helpful for you, but what we're going to start with is a card visual and a guidebook walkthrough. I really wanted to take some time before you receive this deck to give you just the ins and outs and all of the things that will be included on my cards and how to navigate the guidebook. I would hate for you to miss some of the details or not see all of the things that you can do with my deck, being just the major arcana deck. And so I am going to take a little bit of time and just devote several videos explaining different things that you can do with my product. So I hope that this is helpful for you. So the first thing we're going to look at is the cards themselves. There is 22 cards in the major arcana deck, and these 22 cards will have the same details on them. So I tried to correlate the colored arrows to different places on the card. So hopefully that directs your eye a little bit as I'm going through each of these slides. But we're going to start from left to right. The arrow that you see pointing up, that is white, and it is beside the green arrow. That is just telling you that the card is in the upright position. There's only one arrow that's going to be on this card. This is pretty self-explanatory, but for people who maybe are brand new to tarot, this might just be something to start to look at, just so you are becoming a little bit more aware. The other thing that I have included on either side of the card is the colors green, yellow, or red. So you will see the circle. So the arrow that's pointing up is also pointing to a circle. Inside that circle is a green dot. That green dot is telling me that this is an associated yes. You were asking a specific yes or no question. You could look at these dots on either side of the card for your answer. The next thing that every single card is going to have is the associated planet with the card. So as this is the sun card, obviously the associated planet for this card is going to be the sun. I have included an icon, and I've also written out the word for you. I didn't want us to kind of stress about the idea of trying to memorize even more things. So I do have an icon, but you will also always see the word written out, so it is easier for you to access. The next thing that does not have an arrow, but I do want to point out, is the number. So every single card is numbered, so it's easily accessible. I know a lot of people are into numerology, and every single number holds specific messages. And so if you were interested in the number itself as a way to gain even more information, the numbers are all included on the cards as well. Next thing we're going to look at is the card element. And so we're looking at the yellow arrow that is pointing up. So the card element is going to tell you if it is air, water, fire, or earth. Okay, so that's just the energy of the element itself. You're going to see an icon that either has the fire emoji, the earth emoji, the water emoji, or the air emoji. You're going to see 4 of those emojis, and you'll also see more of the traditional description of what it looks like with the triangles. But just so it's easier for everyone to immediately recognize, I also wanted to include that icon there. The next thing to the right of that is going to be the specific zodiac sign. As this is a sun card, the zodiac sign that is associated with this card is Leo. You would be able to see the icon that symbolizes that this is the Leo within the zodiac. And then the last thing is the related emoji. Every single card has an emoji that basically summarizes the energy of the card itself. And what you'll see on the sides of the cards will be specific keywords. So I've included some keywords here. But if you have taken my training where I talk about Tarot for Introspection and making keywords that are meaningful for you, then you already know that this is just a starting point. And I really do hope that you begin to personalize the keywords that are typically associated with each card, but making it your own. All of what you see on the screen is going to be included with the cards themselves. Next thing that we're going to go into is the guidebook. When you open up the guidebook, you will see this information. You're going to see a general message, so a description about the card itself. You're also going to see the name of the card. You're going to see the associated planet, the element. These were all things that were included in the card themselves, but I did include the associated season, and the season closely follows the zodiac sign. I just wanted to point that out as well. This is the bottom half of the guidebook. You will always have related traits, so different traits that basically embody the energy of the card we're looking at. I will always include an affirmation. Some people read these as quotes. However you associate or feel about this, I call them affirmations. They will always be included for every single card. This particular card is reflective of the Sun card. I've also included the zodiac sign as well. If you're someone where maybe you're not really into a lot of astrology, or you might find it hard to remember all of the zodiac signs, I did include the zodiac sign written out so that it's easier for you to see. So like if we go back to the card picture and you see the Leo zodiac sign, but you're like, I don't know what zodiac sign that is. If you go to the guidebook, you will be able to see it because I've written out each of the zodiac signs. And then the last thing that you're going to see in my guidebook for one of the pages is the related song. So every single card has a song that I feel like captures the energy of the card. And so this is one of the songs. And I may be jumping ahead here, but I do have some places for you to journal and write down responses, as well as include your own song if you wanted to make your own major arcana playlist. So if any of the songs that you see in the guidebook are something that you're like, I don't really like this song, or I don't resonate with the song, you can easily switch it out by creating your own playlist. We'll have resources for you to do that later on in this course. I'm just calling it a course because that's where all of the information is compiled, but you will be able to get access to that. So don't get caught up on the songs if they're not really your cup of tea. I do feel like they do a great job of really capturing what the card is all about. So if you get the Sun card and you open up the guidebook, this is going to be page 1 related to that card. The second page is going to go through the reverse meanings, and I've also included a place for the associated yes or no. In the next slide, I will show what it looks like if you wanted to create your own associations. I realize for a lot of people, what is traditionally considered a yes or no or maybe in tarot does not necessarily mean that is how you feel. I wanted this guidebook to also be a place for you to develop your own meanings based on your personal associations. In the guidebook, I will always include additional information just because I feel like it's really cool to know, or I think it adds to the card itself. On some of the guidebook pages, I will include like crystal information or stone information. Other times I will connect it to numerology. It just really depends, but I will always try to put just a piece of information there that I think is pretty cool and that I wanted to share with you. So in this case, I'm talking about sunstone, and so that may prompt you to look more into what has been suggested, or just learning more information about it in general. The next thing that you're going to see that will apply for each card is that I will always have a self-love message. This is a message that I have channeled and I just wanted to share. And I also feel like, again, it really ties back into the card itself. And the last thing that you're going to see in the guidebook, at least for this page, is going to be a journal prompt. And so these journal prompts are pretty self-explanatory. I will also be including additional journal prompts each week related to specific cards, so we can continue to do this process of like self-reflection. So the journal prompts that you see right here are going to be included in the guidebook, but I have already started adding some additional journal prompts that will be included throughout each week so that you have even more opportunity to do some introspection. So far, we've gone through 2 pages of the guidebook. These 2 pages relate to the card itself, and we're still on the Sun card. And then the last page is just going to be additional meanings. I titled it extra messages, and these messages will apply to different areas. Because I was working with the smaller space, I could not really go in depth with all of these. So some things are pretty summarized or pretty brief, but that's again because I did not have a lot of space to go as deep as I wanted to, but I really wanted to share what I could with the space that I had. You will see different areas: career, love, friendship, money, health and wellness, and self-care. So these are just additional messages that still relate to the card that we're looking at. And then the last thing that you're going to see on the guidebook, which this is going to be page 3 for this example, is a place for you to create your own connections. I wanted to give you a space to include your own interpretations. Like if you feel like a card is a yes, even though traditionally it's seen more as a no, then do that. If you want it to be maybe, you can also do that. That way you can use the guidebook as your resource. And that is all that I have for this particular video. But in the next set of videos that you will see, I am going to be sharing specific ways that you can use my cards by asking questions. So be sure to keep on watching.